Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk About Tomorrow, where we talk about everything and anything. Well, it's an episode for the Davids.
Obviously, this is two Davids in the house.
My
and,
guy.
Petrina is unavoidably absent. And Petrina, I miss you. I'm being nice.
He
I
miss
hope-
you. He's always nice. It's not
Thank God,
today.
is a testament. So, what's up this week? What are we talking about? We're talking about the imposter syndrome. Now, what is that? David?
Well, if you are asking, one expert view defines it as behavioral health phenomenon that manifests as self-doubt of intellect, skills, or accomplishment amongst high-achieving individuals. But for me, I would say that everyone can feel the imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Now, that is something. Does that say something about your person, David?
Don't put me on the spot, just
No.
yet. I'm processing it.
Yeah, processing the whole
it's-
information.
it's-
So wait, let us introduce our guest.
okay.
And Light, it's nice to have you on the show today, Mole.
Welcome, Light, and obviously, Mr. Bako, thank you for joining us.
So let's throw the questions, Mr. Abako. Enlighten us. What do you think about imposter syndrome?
This is something I think almost everybody can relate to at some point.
Exactly, you see, it's not only high achieving people that get it.
Yeah, but this is it. Let's unpack it.
Okay.
You are afraid of being found out as being incompetent. You are afraid of being found out as being a fraud. You are afraid of being discovered that who your achievements say you are, or who the kind of English you speak says about you.
It's not what you really are.
Yes, or that the way you dress and the way you appear isn't exactly who you are on the inside. And this is not just for human beings, it's also for even companies sometimes. At the level of company, they call it imposterization.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so,
That's interesting.
yeah, so, and there are 5 types of it actually.
Mhm.
There's the perfectionist imposter syndrome. There's the one for the natural genius. There's
For the one for the
expert-
national what?
natural genius.
Okay, natural.
Natural
Okay.
genius.
Okay.
Okay, so let me even explain that. I think I can recall this three now. The natural genius feels that because he had to get help from someone else, he is not enough. He feels that he alone should have been able to,
Okay.
using his own skills.
Okay. Self-sufficient.
he should have been enough for himself.
Okay.
The perfectionist just feels like if he, maybe because he didn't perform up to certain, those people that score 80 over 100
And they still go and cry somewhere.
and they are still crying. The expert is the one that's not happy because he does not personally know everything that there is to be known in that subject area. You get the point?
Okay.
So he feels like when he says I'm a graduate of mass communication or of social sciences or some or whatever it is, he won't be able to answer all the questions that even the likes of Howard, what's his name, Harold Laswell can't answer. He wants to know everything from the beginning to the end. Those are the people that will buy a textbook when they've read the references. They want to now go and read all the,
Yeah.
if only to be able to know as much as.
Go and read all the
To
recommendations.
be, yeah, so if the person is ever asked a question he or she couldn't answer, he feels he's been an impostor.
Oh.
But we can bring it further. We can break it further down. Okay. So sometimes, it may also be right. Let me use our television world for example.
Okay.
There are many roles in television. When I say this, I'll stop so you guys can. There is a script writer. There's a researcher. There is a producer. There is the video man.
Mhm.
And there are there's a director. There's a fixer. There are a lot of roles.
Yeah.
A lot of times, when somebody comes along and says, I'm a producer, and then there's, of course, the thinker who can imagine what the look and feel of a program should be like. That's really what the producer should be doing. But sometimes a producer may judge somebody who is a good scriptwriter or good director, actually. But he may be going by the name of producer. Even in movies, you see them in Hollywood.
Yes.
What have you really done? I'm a producer. What have you really done? Maybe what he did was, so in that case, he knows that his skill sets are not comprehensive enough. So he will avoid anything that will expose his weak areas. But on the face of it, you will see him that this man, all the films he has done, go and ask those that are working with him. They know that if you don't work with that team, you rather not do anything.
Kasalago box. Oh, okay. Okay, now trying to wrap my head around this whole thing. For you've said a lot of things now. There are eyes and producers, experts, geniuses, and everything. Bringing it down to, being a student, being a small business owner, how do you handle that? When you begin to feel impossible.
So let's even look at how it operates for students, right? I'm just thinking, if you already have a name in class, maybe a question was asked and you gave the answer. That has happened twice or 4 times. Twice or thrice or 4, or maybe, a couple of times. And maybe you've also asked a question that generated a debate in class. Overnight, you become a celebrity. By default, you become a sensation.
Yeah.
So now expectation
demands that
is naturally high on you. Yes. But I think that the beginning point is we need to realize that because we are human, the word humus is from the earth, is so we're not perfect beings. You can never, we're not spirits, we're human beings, we're flesh and blood. So there's
perfection.
So you can read things and forget sometimes. You can.
Yes.
So when you put when
emphasis on forget sometimes.
even in classes, even if you are not this celebrity of the class that answers every question, if you want to answer a question and you stand up, there is this thought in your mind that will just keep pushing you down, because if you go and say rubbish now, everybody will laugh at you and nobody wants to be laughed at.
I want to share something really quickly that I want us to diagnose. It's a personal experience in school. My grades in school so far have been perpetual A's and B's. Cool. When I see a C, I am thrown off balance. So there's this course that I enjoyed. The lecturer that was taking the course came, when he's teaching, he comes down to our level and takes us on a journey every time he comes to class. I did the test. I liked what I did. The exam, I looked forward to it because he said, you're going to write, I want to judge how expressive you can be, everything like that. The exam came, I saw the questions, I was, okay, this is not so, I did it. Then when results came out, I saw a C.
How? How is that even possible?
My C, I was over 40, I had 30 something, so the exam was really shaky. I was I wasn't just, why I'm saying this, it stood out for me because it was almost like my ego was bruised.
Perfectionist.
Not necessarily.
No.
It was just, I went to meet him. I wanted an answer, not just to show me where did I go, because I enjoyed
where did it go wrong?
This course. So that kind of feeling now, is that a byproduct of being?
No.
It isn't. It's another situation.
Because actually, you were even expecting to perform well.
Yes, I was.
Imposter syndrome is the disparity between perception and performance. People perceive it that you are the best, but you are afraid that your performance may prove them wrong.
Okay.
Or may push you out and show that you are a fraud after all. So the fact that you even had the courage to approach him to say, my performance should have been better than what I came up. So it means that's imposter syndrome. Now, imposter syndrome, when we break it down, have you seen people that have everything going for them and yet they keep speaking negatively about themselves?
Yes.
Me, I could just go fail this course now. Hey, you've not written the exam.
and they still manage.
Maybe
I feel that people like that, it's low self-esteem and inferiority complex.
You've been
it's
saying
a possibility. Yes.
Is it like, to ask you? Do you think imposter syndrome and inferiority complex and low self-esteem is something that can be used interchangeably?
No, they are not things. They are not. How would I say it?
They are not the same.
No, they are not the same thing. It's a different thing entirely.
How?
In the sense that, inferiority complex can come when you are among your friends, peer pressure, or like classmates, housemates, and everything. But you see this syndrome, you don't need to be pressured into it.
Oh.
Like you don't have. How will I say? You cannot have it then because you're my friend. Automatically, I'm going to like catch it from you, or I should know. You don't get it. It is just a syndrome. So you can't say because in fact, no, it is a different thing entirely. It doesn't even. They're
So
not
you on the
together, they're not
spotlight.
connected.
You on the spotlight now.
Yeah.
What do you think are the effective ways to fight imposter syndrome?
Really. I've actually learned what that thing is very well.
Do you
I still remember
get-
from him. Do you get it like to
Okay.
some reasonable extent?
Put it
Like
in
I'm always like,
perspective.
okay, get what the thing is from him very well, perfectly. But I want to ask him now. Sorry, sir. I know I'm a guest, but then you have more knowledge about this thing than me. So I'm going to ask you now. The question David asked, because the thing has been ringing in my mind, but I never wanted to cut you short while you were talking. How can it be managed?
Oh well. So I think I always tell people that no matter how much a boss, a parent, or anybody holds your feet to the fire, you know what I mean? Put you on the litmus test and says you must do something. Those are good helps. But ultimately, you will demand more discipline from yourself, demand more accountability from yourself. No matter how much people want to help you, you owe yourself a greater degree of help to become a high achiever. So this is what happens. I remember growing up all my life, I always thought that working at the Guardian newspaper was going to be the apogee of my achievement. I read the newspaper. Sometimes when I was in university, I would buy the Guardian and trek home. You know, I was a fan of the Guardian. And I told all my friends in school back then, they knew. Because I thought their brand of journalism was something else. I didn't know I was going to do television. TV was out of the way for me. I wanted to be a writer through and through. Okay. So, cut the long story short, in 2013, one day later another, I wrote an article that appeared in the Guardian.
Beautiful.
And to think that this thing I always wanted to do just came like that to me, and it happened. Now, when the time came for me to write another piece at the time, it became, I didn't believe that I could do the same thing I had done in the past. So what I did was to go back to what I had written, read it to know that the same brain that produced this thing.
I see.
reassure yourself.
Reassure yourself. Do you get?
That's one.
Try to convince yourself
Yes,
out of.
yes, that's one. Number two, from the Bible, I learned a principle in Hebrews 1 verse 9. It said, you love righteousness and hate iniquity. Therefore, God has anointed you. You know, there's many things there.
I remember
But
this.
one version said, you love righteousness and hate lawlessness. The first thing you do is to have your personal, because of lawlessness is law, right? So have a set of principles that guide you, and you must take your very life on it. So instead of not doing the thing, do the thing. And somebody that has imposter syndrome can walk into a room. When my own imposter syndrome many years ago, how it used to work was this: I would never do anything on my own. If the person who should do the job was not around, I would now intervene to save the day.
Okay.
But I will never on my own step out and say, give me this task. I want to do it. If you do that, I will never do anything. In fact, anywhere I find anybody that can do whatever I can do with equal competence, I will go for myself and recommend and say that guy is super fantastic. I will take the back seat.
I hear myself in that.
Yes. But if the person was not there, believe me, I would intervene.
Almost out of necessity.
Yes, that's when I will intervene. That's imposter syndrome. Is a passive form of it. So what I did was that I made sure that I did the thing I would normally cognitively prefer not to do.
Oh,
So
Even
do
family and
the
friends
thing.
can help. Like family and friends.
No, that's what I'm saying. And no matter now, you see everything I've said.
Like
You've not heard me say my wife or my mom or my boss. No.
Actually.
See, no matter how they want to help you,
yes.
ultimately,
Okay.
because at some point your mother is not going to be there.
Of course.
In the office, your wife, your husband is not there.
Of course.
So you ultimately I told you, and I said, you love righteousness and hate lawlessness. Order. So I had to define an order for myself
Okay.
to challenge and you see, the thing is, sometimes there is this fear of what if I don't do it well?
Do you get?
What if I don't do it
This
enough?
therapy session.
What if I don't? No. So what I did was to learn to be comfortable in failing. I give an example. I give an example. I got a new
That
job.
statement.
I got this new job, and there was where I had done that same thing in the past. They looked at me as somebody who could never make mistakes with it. But with every new environment, there are new challenges. So I got on the job and I did the same thing I used to do. Then I asked the person I was interested, do you like what I've done? But manageably, maybe. So I didn't say anything. That day passed. From the second and third one, it was that the person now had a magnet built into the person and they just wanted to grab me and say, it must be you or no other person. You know what came by that? I was confident in what I was doing. Even if, and this is the home truth, even if the first one I did may not have been good enough for the person to take notice. I don't know what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to admit that maybe what you did wasn't even necessarily super duper. Yeah, so if your quality fluctuates sometimes, it's okay. Yes, but it didn't take too long. The person said, in fact, sent me a message and said, I'm glad they want doing this for me. Went on saying all kinds of things. I did it. I just said thank you, and it passed. So if this thing is
one thing I'm taking out of what you just said, and I would like everybody, even the viewers, to hold on to, because it sounded liberating for me. When you're dealing with imposter syndrome, what your mind would normally say you shouldn't consciously go against
it. Yes.
But do you know that we have some people that don't know about the syndrome and they have it, but they don't know about it.
Yeah.
They don't know they have it.
People don't understand that it exists.
You get it. They didn't see it as a problem.
Yes, and in the psychological spectrum, because I like I always say, I'm heavy on self-development and improvement.
I'm
very keen on genius.
Emphasize
yes,
that.
Yes, I'm very keen on genius. I don't ever learn anything and walk away from it. I will tie myself to any new knowledge and make sure that I act it out. Now, imposter syndrome, right? Is what we're talking about. And there are many other things that affect our personal growth, achievement.
Obviously.
So you must make sure that the very thing you would rather not do, okay, hold yourself to it and make sure to do it. If you fail trying, it's okay. But believe me, you won't be there for too long. Now, yes, this is the point I want to make as a
Okay.
Don't ever accept it as normal.
I shouldn't accept.
Failure.
No. The imposter syndrome, right?
Okay.
Don't ever accept to stay with it.
What if you don't know you have it?
No. So
Wait, Mr. Sirius,
What if I'm not seeing
we're
that's the
about to drive
problem?
it home. Can you get to a place where you don't?
Have imposter, like to wipe it out.
of course.
Wow.
The more you climb, what's
So
the word?
this is
personal
deeper.
development or career development.
So this is deeper.
There's a level of
This is deeper than what we can do on this table.
Okay.
But there are people that say, do you know why coaches in Europe, Mourinho and co, say we're winning the cup this season? I mean, you should never say that. If you compare your budget with the budget of some other teams, or quality of players or the organization,
Everything points to the fact that you don't have the capacity.
yes, but they tell you we are heading. We are going for it. There's a reason for there's a reason. Even in churches sometimes you hear some pastors say
They move by faith.
we now so don't let us go there. There are deeper issues, right? But what the thing I can say is you can come to a point where imposter syndrome no longer has a hold on you. And what you must do is this. Whether it's and there are many of the imposter syndrome, Stockholm's, all of those syndromes.
Yeah.
What you must do is any day you discover any of these things in your mind or something, don't fight it. Don't ever take it and say my own is imposter syndrome.
Okay, not to embrace it.
Don't ever embrace it.
To live with you.
Yes, look for a solution.
Fight it.
Yes,
Okay.
because it will limit your greatness.
And what you condone will never.
Of course.
David, drive it home.
So to take this home, what we've picked out of this is one, if you've done something great before and you feel like you want to do it again and something is telling you it will not be as good enough, reassure yourself that wherever the first great thing you did came from, it is still going to come from there. Now, also take pride in what you did and also take pride in what you are going to do. And lastly, please, failure is not really that bad. You can fail.
It's very important.
And you will go over and do it again. Even if you fail and people laugh at you. That is when you will now take pride in, now that I feel people have laughed, let me do it, let me shame them. I can do this. So that's how far we've come on Let's Talk About Tomorrow today. Do help to join our community by subscribing to our page at Enterprise TV 7 and drop a comment in the section. Until we come again, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.